I didn't think I had any right to go into people's homes and tell them how to take care of their babies or help them postpartum. They call and they cry. In that position as a nurse in a hospital, you can't do a whole lot for them over the phone. You can tell them, call your pediatrician or call your OB. Good luck, I'm praying for you, but that's about it. Everybody else in your house is going to sleep, but you're up and you're responsible for feeding the baby and still changing the diaper,
Alex Greene, welcome to the Device Girls.
Thank you.
We're so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Alex is a founder and owner of Milk Honey Concierge Nursing, and then she's also a nurse bedside as well. So, Alex, why don't you go ahead and just kind of walk us through your journey a little bit, how Milk and Honey Concierge Nursing came about, and all the things.
Okay. Well, I've been a nurse since 2021.
Okay.
So I was a middle school teacher. I got into nursing school in the December of 2019 is when I was accepted. So January of 2020,
COVID.
I started nursing school, and then COVID hit in March. And I was so grateful to get out of teaching during COVID, but then to be thrown into the nursing side was just, I feel like, just as daunting, especially as a student. But for my particular program, they didn't pull us out of the hospital. They did for about a month, and then it's accelerated. And so they had us keep going, which I was grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a lot happen that year. I feel like I had to learn a lot very quickly during that time. And so graduated, and I wanted to go ICU or ER. But God had different plans for me. And so Hendrick at the time was not hiring new grads in the ICU or ER.
Okay.
And so I had worked for the Regional Victim Crisis Center here part-time while I was teaching. And I worked with the SANE nurses, the sexual assault nurse examiners. And I helped victims through their exam, and I sat with them while the nurse did their exam. And so one of the nurses that I followed closely, she offered me a job on mother baby, and it was days, which I needed because I have kiddos. And so I took it. I did not want that job. I didn't want to work with moms and babies at the time. I had a really kind of sensitive spot for postpartum at that time, and I didn't think I was ready to enter that. But I absolutely fell in love with that population. And what I did not like was just watching these parents, these new moms, leave the hospital and just look terrified. Which, they're not all like that. They're leaving and they're excited because I've had 3 kids of my own. So I know that feeling, but I knew getting home was going to be like, that's when the true journey is going to hit. And having them ask, can you come home with me when they leave the hospital? And you get asked that so many times, and, you kind of laugh it off and you're like, yeah, I know, I would love to, but real life, they call the hospital. We tell them at discharge, you can, this is our number. Call us. We can't give you medical advice over the phone, but call us and we can. And they call and they cry, and you can't give them in that position as a nurse in a hospital. You can't do a whole lot for them over the phone. You can tell them, call your pediatrician or call your OB, and good luck, I'm praying for you, but that's about it. And so I was not okay with that. And so for a couple of years, the Lord really laid this on my heart to do this, but that's a daunting thing as a new nurse and in a big, small town, because Abilene is big, but it's a small town. I didn't think I had any right to go into people's homes and tell them how to take care of their babies or help them postpartum. But my husband, he is an entrepreneur. He owns his own business. I do not have an entrepreneurial spirit at all. And so my husband does, and he pushed me to do this for a long time. And I finally, in 2023, I finally said, or 22 actually, I finally bit the bullet and just put it out there. And so
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So walk us through, like, tell us a little bit about Milk and Honey and like what you guys do for new moms and baby.
So we do overnight newborn care and postpartum care.
Okay.
We do offer day shifts, but a lot of parents, they want the night help. Nighttime, statistically, and just from experience, that's when those postpartum baby blues, that postpartum depression, it really kind of hits. It's almost like a night terror, but you're awake.
Yeah.
Everybody else in your house is going to sleep, but you're up and you're responsible for feeding the baby and still changing the diaper. And not that, husbands and partners don't help, but as a mom, that responsibility is on your shoulders. And so most of our clients want the night shift. They want the help at night. So we do pretty much everything. We do night bedtime routine, breastfeeding help, bottle feeding. We'll do some light laundry while they're sleeping. Some moms want to be up with me all night and they want to feed the baby and they want me to direct them. But most parents want me to come in and they just want to sleep. And so I literally get to snuggle babies all night while I know that mom and dad are getting some much needed sleep.
Yeah.
And so we also do Baby 101 classes, which are not super popular. They really want the hands-on to come in, but I've done a few where I go into the home and I teach them just basic newborn care. And some postpartum depression. This is what can help you. This is how you can prepare for it. These are the signs and symptoms. And then I'll do sleep strategy meetings with them. So if they want like a sleep consultation, I'll come in and we'll talk about this is what my baby's doing. This is when they're waking up. They'll just walk me through how that's been going. And then we'll come up with a customized plan to help them get their baby sleeping virtually through the night. Newborns, they're on their own schedule. But I do try to set them up for success for the future so that they're not waking up every hour until they're a year old.
Right.
And so we're more hands-on in the home, but we do offer little classes outside of that too.
That's amazing. So what does that look like for schedule wise? Is it common for you to go into the home multiple times a week or just like once or twice?
I've kind of changed that up a little bit. Since I started, I've always offered packages. And so I would do a 1 week, 2 week, 4 week, 6 and 8 week package. But scheduling wise, it's a new business. It's hard to have a stranger come into your home and give them full reins over your newborn. And so that has been a challenge. So it's not been super consistent. So hiring help, even on a PRN as needed basis has been difficult because it's kind of spaced out so much. I can't keep somebody on all the time. Usually they have, another job. And so that was a little bit difficult, but I've made that work for a long time. But recently we're offering where you can book up to 3 shifts at a time, whether that's day shift or night shift. And so typically they'll reach out and they'll say, how many shifts they're wanting. And then I'll give them dates and we'll go back and forth for a little bit until we nail down, some dates. But right now we're doing 3 shifts at a time, between 1 and 3 shifts at a time. And then if they want to extend, they get first choice to extend over newer clients.
Okay. But that's amazing. I absolutely love that because I will say, so I'm only a mom of 1 and I had Sloan.
Not only a mom of 1. 1 is enough.
Yes,
that's
true. Yes. And, but when Dustin and I left, and like I have babysat my whole life. I've taken care of kids since I was still technically kind of a kid, you know, and like never ever did I have this like, oh my gosh. But when we got home, we literally did not sleep for 3 days. The first 3 days, you don't sleep. Like it was just, we didn't eat anything. Like, and thank gosh, my mom did make some meals, but even like one of them, like we didn't touch them for like 3 days. And it's just like this scared, like you are now responsible for this human's life. And like just the most terrifying. And I remember too, Dustin, he was only off for a week. And so I remember literally like bawling the day he had to go back to work. I am sitting there like, please do not go. Like, please do not go. I can't do this by myself. I am so scared. Like, don't go. And like my mom came down to the house and stuff, but it's just, it's hard.
It's daunting.
It's hard. Yeah. And I really, truly never anticipated that when, I mean, just like I said, like growing up, like taking care of kids, taking care of like literally babysitting infants. I have a family that I babysat for years and years and years. And I mean, the twin boys were 6 months old when I started babysitting them. And then, I mean, the middle child was 3 and then 4. And so I had like all those kids at one time.
To back. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is fine. This is easy. This is great. And like, it's just different.
It's different when it's yours. Different. And you are solely responsible for keeping that child alive.
Yes.
But not only, it's so different in today's society because, I mean, even from my oldest is 15. And even when I had him, it was rough in this sense, but not like it is now, where moms are expected to, your child has to be physically perfect, but it also has to be mentally and emotionally perfect. And that is completely up to you, whether or not that happens. And that's terrifying for a parent, especially a new parent, because you have all this research saying your child's mental health, how they will be when they're 10 years old, is directly reflected by how you were with them as newborns and toddlers. And so if you had postpartum depression and anxiety and you yelled at them too much, or you had to go in a room and leave them by themselves for too many times or for too long, well, that's made an effect on their brain. And now it's your fault that they are mentally unsound. Yeah. And that is what really pulled at my heart for this is if a mom and a dad, because dads, they don't get 6 weeks off most of the time. Moms barely get 6 weeks off in the US. If a mom has to be by herself and do that, and she has depression and anxiety, and she has all these other things going on that she is told she's not allowed to pay attention to because your baby is what matters the most. I mean, what are they supposed to do? They need help. They need support. And this, I don't care if you make $1 million a year or if you're virtually living in poverty, you are not safe from the effects of postpartum depression. And you may have a great support system or no support system, but you are not immune to that. And that's hard for a lot of moms to admit. Yeah.
I love that you think about it that way and touch on that, because it is so true. Like I never understood this, like growing up as much, but getting older and like, you have interactions with people or friendships or relationships or what have you. And like, I get super into like, why is this person the way that they are? And like a lot of times, like if you're interrelated with like their family and everything, it is like crazy to see how much, like once you learn a little bit about their background of like, holy moly,
that's why you are.
Because but like I really like probably since I don't know entered my 20s, I started to really like see it. But it's so crazy how I feel like it's not talked about. Like there's not education on it. People don't harp on it enough. But also, like you said, like there's so much weight to it. But was there anything like specifically in like your journey too with postpartum depression or anything that like stuck out to you or like really made you want to do this?
Yes, there was a lot actually.
Whatever you're comfortable with sharing.
Yeah. That was part of the reason why I hesitated to do this for so long, because I had postpartum depression with my older two. My kids are 15, 10, 15, 13, and 10 now. And then I have 3 bonus kids. But with my first two, I had pretty rough postpartum depression. I have a wonderful family. My parents, literally, I could not have gotten through my life without my parents. They really, my mom basically lived with us for a month after my first was born. And I went back to school at 3 weeks. He was 3 weeks old. And my fall semester was starting in college. I was 21. And I literally had no idea what was about to happen to me with my body and my hormones and raising a newborn and working full time and going to school full time. And so it was rough with him. It was rough with my middle one. And then my daughter, she was in the NICU for about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. She was born without a thyroid gland. We didn't know that. And that completely was crazy. Knowing that now and being a newborn nurse and seeing different sides of things was crazy. But with her, she was in and out of the hospital a lot when she was a newborn, and she had sleep apnea and she had a pretty severe heart murmur. And so the postpartum with her turned into more of a psychosis. And it's like a complete out of body experience. And I know people say that, but it literally, like, I was not myself. I didn't even picture myself as their mom half the time. And it really changed the trajectory of my whole life and their life. And it wrecked a lot of things for us, because I didn't know that's what it was. Even with the third one, I didn't know that's what it was. I didn't know what it was. I didn't really want to know what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't want to listen to what it was. Yeah. A lot of denial. And it really did change my kids' lives, my life, my family. It hurt a lot of people. And I didn't know until 2 years later, when I was in therapy, that that's what that was.
Yeah.
And not that it justified it, but it gave me permission to forgive myself and give myself some grace, and other people grace, that made me so angry during that time, telling me like, there's something wrong with you. And so I can't imagine other people having to go through. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. And the more support you have hands-on, I mean, research shows it, but just by experience, the more hands-on support you have, the better chance you have of it not progressing that quickly, and calling it what it is, calling it out, so that you can get the help that you need, whether that's, just in therapy or family support or medication or, whatever that is. It's okay. And it's necessary. It's necessary for your mental health and that of your kids.
I think that I'm not a mom, so I've never gone through it, but just from like witnessing people like becoming moms and watching, I think like moms just get so stuck, and like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but so stuck in just like mom mode, and like, this is my life now. These are my kids. It's all that matters. Like, they come first, whatever. That like, I feel like some moms don't even realize they're losing themselves in that. Like, they just get so used to the monotony and the like mundaneness of every single day that like, then 2 years down the road, like you said, holy cow, I don't even recognize myself anymore.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's sad.
When I had Sloan, I had him in December, and then at 6 weeks, I applied to the medical sales college that we went to. And I started that program in Dallas in person at 10 weeks. He was 10 weeks old. So we were trucking up there once a week. We'd stay in an Airbnb all week and then come home on the weekends. And I think like it's that the support, like coming back to the support. So like my dad, he was coming up there with us every single week, and it was like shifts. Everybody like helped out, you know what I mean? And so it wasn't this complete like feeling of aloneness and like I have to do this 24/7 on my own, and like my husband's working and I just, so like my dad would have him a couple of days and while I was in school all day, and then I'd come home, and then I just like I had space to still be me, you know what I mean, and not just succumb to this like whole new like massive change, like the best change, you know, like the most amazing gift that I could ever be blessed with. But I think that it does. It completely makes or breaks your mindset and your experience after having a little one, absolutely. You know? And so
actually let's talk about this, because I want to know like what you recommend or what some of the things are that you like talk with new moms about like doing. But I was gonna say like I really think that probably helped you so much, because
100%.
I know that, because you and I talked about it, but like I know that you still struggled with mom guilt a little bit because you were away, but at the same time, like it allowed you to still keep like some focus on yourself and not just like, because I feel like so many moms, they just sit at home with baby and it's like
you lose yourself in that, and all you're doing is just in your head. Like you're just in your head, and there's so much pressure. And as a new mom, or even as an experienced mom, I'm like, what am I doing?
No,
All the time I'm like, what the, you know? And so it's just like when you're sitting there and just racking your brain and never feeling like, you know, you're perfect or like you've got this figured out, because those people will never have it figured out. Like every kid, every situation, everything's 100%. Different. Yeah. And just like learning that you have to show yourself grace. And it still took me a long time. Like the mom guilt was real of like, I'm still going to pursue this because one, like I want to step into the career and calling that I know that I'm being led and called into. And I want my son to see that it's okay to, you know, pursue your dreams and have a family and like chase after whatever you want, you know? And so, it was definitely like, but it was a hard, like internal battle and mental battle of like feeling the mom guilt, feeling, you know, just all of it, all of the emotions that come with it.
Yeah, that's so true. And that mom guilt will never go away. You will always have that little voice in the back of your head that that is not from the Lord. Guilt is not from the Lord. That is not those voices that you have in your head of mom guilt. It's not truth. Yeah. And so you have to, and a lot of times you have to do it for yourself. You have to tell yourself, this is not true. One huge thing that I always tell moms when I go into their home, or when we even just have a consultation, even in my job at bedside, I tell them, you are specifically divinely chosen to be your baby's mom. Nobody else could do this job. You are specifically chosen to do this the way that it's supposed to be done. And so you have to constantly remind yourself of that. Even I have to constantly remind myself that all the time. I have so much guilt for when I went through my depression with my daughter and then deciding to leave teaching to go to nursing school. I mean, I was working 3 jobs while I was teaching as a single mom, trying to raise the kids, and their dad, we shared custody, but it's the fact that I was working 3 jobs, so I was gone all the time. My parents literally had my kids all the time. And that was guilt because I didn't have them all the time anyways. So then having to work all the time when I did have them, and then choosing to go to nursing school in a different town, because my particular school was at a Midland location. Oh, wow. And so I lived with my sister and my brother-in-law. by the grace of God, they allowed me to move in with them as almost newlyweds. And then they had a newborn at one point. And so just leaving and not even being there to go to school events during that time because it was a 12-month program. I couldn't live there and go there. But I had to tell myself, like, I'm bettering myself. I'm not going to have to work 3 or 4 jobs anymore to make ends meet. And I got a lot of guilt from other people for doing that. Why aren't you here? You're leaving the kids. But like you said, I want my kids to know that you can, it's okay to do what's best for you, because when you're doing that, you're also doing what's best for your kids. And so you have to really, it's hard for people to see, well, she's doing that just for herself. It's really selfish of her to want to do that because she just wants to make more money. But if I'm not doing my best, I can't be my best for them. And that sounds very cliche, but it's 100% true. If you are not your best as a mom, you can't be your best for your babies.
100%.
Well, also too, like, chasing personal growth like that, it's not always just about the money.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
It's about evolving yourself in different ways. And I think too, like, this goes back to like moms after they have children is like, and that's one thing, like, I tell you this all the time, we talk about it. Like, I'm really not the type that was made to be a stay-at-home mom. And like, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
like, stay-at-home moms are amazing.
Champions.
Yeah. Oh,
Just-
heroes. Yeah.
Just not for me though, because I'm afraid if I did, I would fall into that. And like, bless my mom, love her, but she stayed home most of the time, or she worked like part-time and she stayed at home and cleaned whatever. I'm sorry, but I don't like to clean. I don't like to cook. Like, it's not my thing. So I'm like, no, thank you. And I'm very upfront about that with a lot of people. I'm like, if you want someone who's going to cook and clean, I'm not your girl.
That's good. You got to set those expectations early.
But anyway, like, and then I think too, let's talk about this because I haven't experienced this, but I feel like a lot of women almost too, like, get jealous of their husbands or their partners, and like, it turns into like resentment because they have their own thing going. That's what I was saying with this whole thing. Anyway,
absolutely.
It's like keeping your own thing going.
Yeah.
But how does that affect like relationships too?
I think like that was a huge thing for me. I was a person with big goals, with big dreams, I had a whole identity before this child.
Yeah.
And it's okay for me to say, like, this is, oh my gosh, like my entire world. Yes. But I'm still me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like with the mental strength that you truly have to develop, and a mindset that you have to develop to be able to not let the outside or the inside internal noise and just that, like you said, is not from God, is not from the Lord. That's like making you feel guilty, making you feel lesser, or judging you for not being with your kid 24/7, or judging. I mean, as moms, like, our culture is wild to me because you will get, pardon my French, shit on for the fact that you're just a stay-at-home mom. When that is like one of the most, raising your kids to be good humans is single-handedly, I would say,
1000%.
the most important job in the entire world. But yet that is, and people expect, well, you're not bringing anything to the table. Pause.
Yeah.
No, like, just stop right there. And but then also the latter, like, if you choose to work, if you choose to, I mean, we just can't do anything right.
No, you can't do anything right.
Yeah. And so you just have to develop this mindset of like, my worth, my value, what I'm doing in my life, like, is not determined by any outside or inside factor besides who I am in Christ and how Christ sees me.
Exactly.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. Absolutely. But it's so hard. And I think like when I think environment, your family, your support system, what you're feeding into your soul. Like what kind of like movies are you watching? What kind of podcasts are you listening to that pour into you to make you, you know, tell yourself the positive, like delusionally optimistic, delusionally positive, delusionally like just kind, you know, and just to yourself. Because if you're not doing that, it literally becomes a battle.
Yeah. It'll eat you alive.
Battle.
Yeah.
What do you see and how do you encourage women and moms like on that side, like what they're pouring into themselves, like how they're like, what does that process look like for you when you go into that?
So, you know, I've been really fortunate. The crazy thing about this job that this business that I've tried to create is, you know, I tried to go through a process where I could accept people's insurance.
Okay.
And that was a nightmare. Really. Insurance is not kind to postpartum moms. And that was a nightmare. And they're not kind to small businesses. And I could not, there was no way I could afford to do that. And so I am considered a private practice, private pay business. And it's an investment. It's, you know, a lot of people have a hard time with my prices because they're a little up there. They're not these businesses are very common in like the Metroplex. And actually in the Omni Hotel, I don't know if y'all have seen this, but they have this woman literally bought one floor of the Omni Hotel to make it a postpartum spa for moms. Really? And they stay for days at a time. They get, in the Omni Hotel. She bought a whole floor. And I can't even remember the name of it. I wish because I am obsessed with this idea.
Yeah.
And I literally got such big goals. Like I could do that. But the capital that this particular woman has, she's the wife of a famous sports player. Oh, sorry. But anyways, they go for days or a week at a time, and they have room service, and they have robes, and they have a nursery where a newborn nurse will come in and take baby, and they have the spa, and the price for that is astronomical. I mean, I think it's like $3,000 a night to do that. But if you have the money and that is helping your sanity, girl, Go for it. Do it. I would. Yeah. But for Abilene, you know, my prices are not anything like these concierge businesses in the Metroplex or anything like that, but they are pretty up there. And I mean, it's a private practice, so it's cash pay. And so the people that can't afford to do this, I'm not saying they're not the ones that need it. Like I said, I don't care if you make $1 million or you're living homeless. You are just as at risk for postpartum depression, and everyone needs help with a newborn. I don't care how much money you make. But unfortunately, the ones that can afford to hire a service like this, you know, they make some fairly decent money. But the very first client I ever had, they saved and saved and saved for this because mom knew she had a history of postpartum depression and she did not want to go back down that road. And they didn't have a whole lot of money, but they saved and saved for it. And so I want to go to everyone's home. I want to go everywhere. And I've called some of the churches in town and, you know, asked, do you want to sponsor a mom? I'll go in, you know, and do that. Or for, I tried for like adopted families or foster families who, you know, they get a call at 2 a.m. Hey, we have a baby. We need you to come get it. We're about to bring it over. I offered for that, but there's so much going into that to watch a foster kiddo. But, you know, I try to do what I can in those areas, but unfortunately the nature of this is that it's an investment. Yeah. And so I forgot what your question was though.
Well, I think you answered it. I am curious though, what is your perspective on what needs to change on the insurance side and the support that just, I mean, if we look at our country as a whole and how our process and looks like for, postpartum dads and moms, right? And then versus other countries who get years.
Yeah.
Literal years.
Free.
Like,
yeah. Other countries will hire somebody and pay for it. Somebody like me to go into someone's home and do this.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and they're getting, 6 months to a year, if not longer, off, the mom and the dad. That is all paid. They're getting paid. It's paid leave the whole time. Why, if we are supposed to be the richest country in the world, why are we not offering that for our moms? It's unacceptable. I don't understand that. And why are we not offering free mental health care for them postpartum? Yeah. Why are we not doing that? And I know, like, at some hospitals, they do have, we'll pay for you to have 3 mental health visits. Okay, what's 3 mental health visits? Yes, thank you. But what is 3 mental health visits to my mom in the thick of it?
Right. And by the time you even, let's just be real, by the time you even get to really know and develop a comfortable relationship with a therapist, you're probably at least 3 sessions.
Oh, yeah. At least, at the very least, to be comfortable. Even, especially for a mom who is having suicidal thoughts or thoughts of hurting her child, you're not going to tell somebody that in 3 visits a lot of times unless you are well past
the point.
Yeah. And you just need to do something before something happens. Yeah. And we see that all the time. I can't remember, maybe in Ohio, the mom who killed her 3.
No, we're thinking.
Well, there's another. There's several.
Yeah.
She killed her 3 kids, and then she tried to kill herself, and it didn't work. And now she's about to go to prison for that.
Yeah.
And she had postpartum psychosis, and people don't think that's a thing. That's the problem. People don't think that's a thing. She's just crazy.
Us through exactly what postpartum psychosis is and looks like?
So psychosis is a severe form of depression, but you have hallucinations. You have the suicidal thoughts and ideation, which you can have that with depression, absolutely. But the psychosis is, depression will hit out of nowhere, but the psychosis, it will hit out of nowhere, but it kind of progresses from bad to worse, really and extreme, to where you're literally not even yourself anymore. You don't know, like, you literally don't feel like yourself. You don't know who you are. And that's not in the philosophical sense of, man, I just don't know who I am. No, you literally don't know who you are. Like, I'm Alex, but who is that person? Like, are those even my kids?
Yeah.
Are those, like, I know that baby is sitting there, but that's not mine. Like, she's not mine.
Yeah.
And you have these thoughts of, for me, I completely disconnected from that. And I tried to create a whole different life for myself outside. Like, yes, I would still make my kids lunches. I would still tuck them into bed, but there were nights when I wouldn't even come home sometimes, or I would come home at, midnight or 2 a.m. and their dad was there to take care of them. And that is the ugly truth of postpartum depression, and especially with the psychosis, is I had to my mind just disassociated itself to cope with the fact that I had a newborn. I had 2 toddlers. And my newborn she almost died a few times after I had her. Nobody could figure that out. And then she had sleep apnea, and we were in the hospital for several days because she would quit breathing. And then the heart murmur, and then I couldn't breastfeed her anyway. And that in itself, for a mom who really wants to breastfeed, is devastating to lose that connection too. So I had 0 connection with anything, including the outside world. I just completely disassociated.
Yeah.
I think it's so crazy that people can, like, sit there and say that like postpartum psychosis or whatever is just, these moms are crazy, because I haven't had a child. I haven't been through postpartum depression, but I've been through some other shit.
Yeah.
And anybody who's been through some serious shit, like excuse my French, but like you totally can lose yourself in a moment.
Yeah.
You can totally, like you said, disassociate, not even know who you are in a moment. And it makes you do things you don't even recognize.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't even know who I am anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think it's sad that there's like this stigma around that, but then we can go around and say that it's okay for everybody else in their other situations. And like, I'm thankful that like therapy has become so like normalized now, which
it's not taboo.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important, which I'll be the first one to say, I've actually never gone to therapy. Should I?
Yeah.
Probably. The gym's my therapy, but like I've thought about it, like definitely. And like, I'm not afraid to go. I'm also not afraid to say I haven't gone.
Yeah.
But
I love it. Like, I think that it's no matter what season you're in, I think it helps you have someone to lean on, someone to give you perspective, someone to give you encouragement. And whether you're in a good headspace or a hard headspace, like if you're in a good headspace, treat it like life coaching. Like go in with the mindset that, like, let's talk through your goals, talk through like who you want to become in the process of achieving, and like just your, the relationships. But I think like, I don't know. I think therapy is so important. And I am glad that it's becoming a less taboo, topic.
Yes.
And truly, like, I would love to see what you're doing become the same. Like,
me too.
Because it's needed. Like, we need that. Moms need that, but dads need it.
Yes. Dads need it. And dads get so underrepresented, which moms are already underrepresented in the postpartum world. But dads, like, I can't imagine. I mean, I was there. I know how my kid's dad tried to cope with this. But I can't imagine being a dad and a husband trying to help your wife through postpartum depression and psychosis, because men are not allowed to be emotional. They're not allowed to go through depression. Women, yes, therapy is it's not as taboo, but it's still a little bit taboo for men, I feel like. And so
absolutely, for
a new dad to have to help their wife through that, I feel like there's a stigma on that too. Like your wife is nuts. What is going on with her? Like, why are you not keeping her under control? Like, I can't imagine how terrifying it is for a dad and a husband to try to walk their wife 100%. Through that. They're not taught to do that for themselves. How are they supposed to help their wife through it? Especially as a new mom and a wife who went through that. Like, I didn't want, like, don't talk to me about that. You don't even know what I'm going through. You can't even relate. You didn't just push this baby out. Like, you have no idea. You still get to go have your life. You still get to have your friends. You still get to go to work. You still get to go play golf, or whatever it may be. And it's so, I think when you ask about relationships, it does put a big strain on relationships. And so it takes a lot of hard work for a couple, and not to prepare themselves for that. And they don't prepare for moms. They don't prepare moms for postpartum, but they don't prepare couples for postpartum, because you're both postpartum. You're both going through postpartum. You're both going through the newborn phase. And yes, the moms, our hormones, that is a natural phenomenon that the dads don't necessarily go through, but they also have feelings and they have emotions and they have hormones that they're trying to deal with too, on top of your wife and your other kids. And so the dads don't get enough credit for what they also have to go through.
Well, it's a new season, like, to them too. And I think that's one of like the worst things we've done as a society and a culture. I was just talking with someone about this the other day, to shift to this whole dynamic of like, men don't have feelings and they can't feel and blah, 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 blah. And it's so detrimental to like different seasons of life like this. Like, when you have to be there for yourself, but also like your wife, and like you're going through it. It's like,
and you're providing. You're supposed to make the money when you've both been off for this. I just can't. That's a lot.
And like if you think about it too, our bodies are spending 8 plus months growing this child, preparing for this, starting to like prepare for that, and just the natural like nature, you know, of we will just take it on and just do it. It hits them like a freight train. Let's be real, because they're not growing this baby.
Well, and they have to learn how to connect.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. We got to connect
for 9
in
months.
the womb.
Yeah. Like, and like, whereas,
because women were made for that.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
and then you know, then they have this kid and it's like, oh my gosh, like this is mine.
Yeah.
And like, but having to start that from the day that they arrive into the world, like when you put it into that sort of a perspective, that's overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine. Oh, there it is. Now I have to bond with this baby too. I have to connect. I have to try to make it feel like, you know, and
it's hard for, let's be real, like it's harder for dads until they really hit a stage where like their personalities really starting to show, you know, and then like then they start like walking and running. Then it's like, okay, well now y'all are two peas.
Exactly.
You know,
but
until then, like Dustin, when we talk about next baby, it's just like he's excited, and he'll send me pictures all the time. He's just like, oh, I miss when he was this little, and I miss when he was this little, and I agree, but he also all the time would be like, I cannot wait till I can like throw them around and like go, you know what I mean, and like play. And
they want to skip that 2 to 3 year phase and go to the fun stuff.
Yes. And so, and I know it's hard. It's hard on them, and they are not given the credit that they deserve at all. So
I've never really thought about it like that, but like when you put it in that perspective, like they didn't get to sit there and grow this child for 9 months, like literally in layman's terms, just
like my dog probably had a
like,
better relationship
9
with,
months. And like, so you're already like bonded, but like dad's just like, oh, an alien.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I made that.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bad joke, but like,
no, it's true. Yeah, like I was saying, like my dog probably had like a bit of a stronger bond because he would lay on my belly every night, like for hours. Like he'd lay and snuggle.
Like
yeah. And whereas
dads,
Dustin,
take notes.
Yeah, from the
lay
pets.
your head on their belly.
Yeah, that'd be so uncomfortable, right? Like
don't do that.
That's annoying to me. Like, no,
like maybe like your hand a few times. Like, but like even then, I don't do this.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, like,
just touch it and back off.
Whereas like my dog would literally nuzzle and like lay his head
and I'm
right
like,
here.
oh, and they're petty. I'm like, that's so sweet.
It's so sweet. Like y'all are gonna be best friends. It's just like, it's true. Oh my gosh, it's sad. It is. Yeah. It's sad. Kudos to dads. Like y'all are doing an amazing job. So like good. And moms.
Well, and I think what I've seen going into strangers' homes and working with couples that I only met, you know, maybe the week or two before. Going back to, you know, the people that can pay for this, they're usually have such a great support system in place already. And to see these couples, like these dads, like, no, they're not necessarily bonded with this baby yet, or they're trying to figure it out, but to see how they take care of their wife in this and getting up at, you know, I have the baby all night. Y'all are good. Y'all go sleep. But still like telling, hey, it's 9:30. I know you want to watch your show, but we really need to go to bed. And getting up at 2 a.m., refilling her water for her. And I just see him in the dark walking through the kitchen, so tired, but taking it to her so that she doesn't have to get out of bed. I mean, that has been really just so joyful for me to see that, because I think that is a very hard thing for couples to, especially for dads who are going through this, watching their wife go through this complete life change and just trying to make her feel like she's seen and she's significant. And a lot of dads, I think, don't do that, but I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's out of malicious intent as much as it is like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, they don't
and
know what
moms
they're
being
doing.
like, you know what,
Yeah.
I don't need you to do anything. I've got, because I know I was like that at some. I don't
Mhm.
need you to do anything. I've got it.
Yeah.
Almost being offended by the fact that they're trying to help so much.
Yeah.
Whenever, well, I'm supposed to do this, so I got it. I have to breastfeed anyways, so I don't really need you to do anything. But then at the next point, being like, you know, you could have got up and changed a diaper for me or whatever.
Right.
So I think they're just pulled in so many different directions. And
But that goes back to like the being prepared for it, because like
100%.
we should be like teaching moms like,
yes,
hey, you know what? If he offers to do something, let him.
let him do
Like,
it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I know,
let
like-
him do it. Ask for the help.
Yeah, like your instinct is probably like, I got it, but
Yeah.
like people don't.
Bless my husband, because I did not want to do it. I don't know. I don't know what
That's
happened
so
to me.
good. That's so good though that you could say,
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't
Do
know what
this.
happened to me though. Like I used to be fine. I could be a champion with like I was not. I did not have an issue when it came to like throw up, and then it's like after I had a kid, and then like you know
Yeah.
sometimes
Oh,
the
yeah.
early diapers
they're rough.
really
Mhm.
Yeah,
are
they're
kind of
rough.
like no.
I have literally seen people
Oh,
gag and throw
I
up in the
can-
trash can
I
from a first
can't-
baby
yeah.
diaper.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And then also too, I can't tell you how many outfits we threw away. I was like, I am not
Yeah. No,
touching that.
there's
It
no
will
way
not
that's
go in
going in
my
the
wash.
washer. Yeah.
Hell no. But like Dustin was a champ. Like he could deal with. He did it all. Like he was
Yeah.
like, let me do it. I got this.
Aw.
And like would
so
like
great.
clean the clothes that like
Mhm.
nope. We would have. There would have been so many more outfits that got thrown away if it
Yeah.
weren't for him. Because I will.
No.
I won't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it is true. Like you really do have to. You have to let them.
Yeah.
And
You
that's-
have to ask for help. And I think we're not allowed to ask for help though.
Mhm.
You should be able to do that by yourself. As a mom in this society, you should be able to do that by yourself. And then you should also make sure that you look perfect and that you are keeping yourself
And your body
look,
bounces back immediately.
yeah. I mean, the expectations that we put on moms is crazy, and it makes us feel like we're not allowed to ask for help. And if we do, we're lesser than.
Mhm.
We are not a good mom because we're asking somebody to come into our home and take our baby for a whole night. So that makes us unworthy. That makes us
Mhm.
not capable of doing this job on our own, when in reality, if you are losing sleep, your postpartum depression chances just skyrocketed.
Mhm.
And we all know
Mhm.
that all moms lose sleep. And so even losing, 2 hours of sleep is going to make your chances of postpartum depression skyrocket.
Mhm.
1 in 7 women have postpartum depression. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about the women that fall through the cracks and don't get seen, that statistic, I fully believe, is much, much higher than that.
Oh yeah.
And even the women that do have it, 50% of them don't get treated
Yeah.
with anything, whether that's just talking it out or medication or what have you.
Well, and I mean, this actually ate at me when I was freshly like home postpartum, thinking about all of the moms and all of the babies who, and I think like that's where like my headspace went so much. And I mean, I would literally rock Sloan to sleep every night and sit there and cry, thinking about all the moms who went home without help,
Mm-hmm.
who are on their own, who are doing this alone, or thinking about every baby who is leaving that hospital and not going home into a healthy
Yeah.
home or a
gosh.
healthy situation.
Yeah.
And it would just make me bawl because I'm like, I love him so much. I want to be the best mom that I can be. And like, and it was hard and it was
Yeah.
taxing. There were nights like, but when you think about that and like, even this type of a service, right? That is the demographic of patients that need this.
Yes.
So what are
Yeah.
we as a country, as a system, as a Christian like family doing to support and help moms have this kind of care?
Yeah.
Like it needs to change.
Yeah. It's non-existent, basically.
It needs to change.
And that adds to the guilt factor for asking for help. I mean, the great thing about Abilene which is great for Abilene. It's rough for a business like mine, but the great thing about Abilene is it's so family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who live here, they grew up here and their parents grew up here. And so you have this huge support system that their parents do come in and they're, to help, and they have their mom come in to help, and they have their sisters and their aunts, and you have their church community that comes and helps. And, that's the great thing about Abilene is it's so family oriented. But because of that too, not a lot of people need somebody, I'd rather have my mom come in than a total stranger come in. And then, but there's some days me and my mom, when she's been there for 3 or 4 weeks with my husband, and I'm like, okay, this is not working for us. This is not working for me and my husband. This is not working. And so sometimes having that stranger, that unbiased person come in to help is great. But Abilene, the thing about Abilene is a lot of people have a great support system here, but coming from a hospital bedside perspective, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't have, the teen mom population is crazy. We see it all the time. We have a lot of moms who don't go home with their babies. They're taken from them by CPS or another family member, or, and that mom is still going to go through depression, and she's not going to have the means, the financial means, and she's not going to have the support to get through that on her own. And unfortunately, a lot of times, those are the parents that keep having kiddos and the same with the same outcome. And that is in large part a direct
correlation.
Yes, to the way that
they were raised.
Women are treated in this country, moms.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my next question, because I absolutely love this. I love what you're doing, and I'm sure Sarah can say the same thing. So what's your big goal this year? Because seriously, I want to put something out there, help. If it's sponsor moms, what can we do to help you help this grow? What's your goal?
I haven't really thought about the long-term goal, because I feel like every year I'm just trying to reach more people. And I'm, like I said before, I am not good at social media. I am not, I hate being on my phone. I don't, but I know that's needed to get the word out. But honestly, I would like to help the moms that can't really afford it. The moms that, not that moms that can't afford it don't need it. Absolutely they do. And I love going into their homes and helping them. But the moms who really need this are the ones that can't pay for it. And so I have racked my brain for 3 years now trying to figure out a way around that. And I have thought about more of a discounted program for moms like that, but even then it's hard for them to even spare $20 here and there. It's hard. So my goal is what it's been every year, just to reach more people and try to figure out a way to give them this help without making them go broke, because I know it is an investment. And that's what I think, because as a mom struggling and working 3 jobs back then, this was not something I would have even looked at, because I can't afford it. And I can't afford to spend that on myself. But I don't know. That's the goal, just trying to reach more people that truly do.
Well, we would love to help you and support you in any way we can. And we love what you're doing. We love what you're doing.
Thank
you for what you're doing for moms and families and babies, because you're helping impact a family's trajectory in life as a whole.
It's
very special.
Thank you.
If there's one piece of advice or one word of wisdom that you'd have for moms and families postpartum, what would that be?
That you are a team. Couples, I tell them this all the time. You are on the same team. You are not mom versus dad. If one of you is losing, you're both losing, and that's in any part of a marriage or a relationship. But so that's one big thing I always tell my couples is y'all are in this together. But so cliche, but ask for the help. It's okay to ask for help. Yeah. And again, you were divinely appointed to take care of this baby. And so you can 1000% do it. You can, just because you do it this way and somebody else does it this way, comparison is a thief of joy. Do not compare your parenting or your motherhood journey to somebody else's, because you are on a specific path for a reason, and you can fulfill that path.
Yeah. I love that.
I love it.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for coming
Yes.
on.
Thank y'all
Everyone,
so much.
please go follow Milk and Honey Concierge Nursing on Instagram, Facebook. Reach out to Alex. What she's doing in this community is amazing. If you want to sponsor her or sponsor a mom, please reach out to us, reach out to her. What she's doing is amazing. So God has really anointed her and put a passion in her heart, and
Thank you.
More people need this. So thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
and
thank y'all
Alex,
for having me.
Yes. All right. Bye.